comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus right down.
Hey now, it's cold as hell in this back room and in general. Whoo! I'm buttoning up my little shirt here because my hands are cold. It was 12 or so, 14 degrees this morning, and now it's up to 41, which is good. Woo! Let me see here. Let me get my mouse going. Hey now, 9 people, huh? Well, I guess I can go over a few movies that I've recently watched. Hey, well, guess what, Beta Fett? There's a few things. There's a new movie on Shudder called
For the sake of the vicious.
Yeah, For the sake of the vicious, and it's pretty good.
Pretty crazy.
Indeed. 56 degrees. Well, you're having a heat wave.
It's 44 here.
Yeah. So I did get my Severin in, but just now watched the 4K of Santa Segre, and I was a little worried when I first saw the first couple of scenes, and it did not look that great. But then it really cleaned up after that. It looks really good. It's insane. I had forgotten a lot of stuff about the film because it's been a while since I've watched it. Color Out of Space is it is very strange, but it's something. I mean, I'm not 100% sure I like it or not, but it's definitely got some weird and wacky stuff. So at least it's not boring. At least that. But some good stuff. Got it for $30 instead of the regular $50, I think, or whatever they were charging. I'm sure it'll go down further. I did get my $20 gift card, so I'm gonna probably wait a little bit before I use it. Speaking of something that's really insane, Ebola syndrome on 4K it looks so good. It's hard to believe what you're watching because it's just insanity. If you ever, I mean, this is the craziest Cat 3 movie I think I've seen. Hey, Darren. And it looks incredible on 4K. I mean, it's hard to believe. Like I say, it's just weird. And of course, Trauma. Watched it and enjoyed it as usual. But I mean, it is a weird Argento film. Of course, filmed in Minnesota, maybe Minneapolis or something. I don't know. Well, I'm sorry, Darren. It's one of those deals. I guess next year I won't be so. Wes got the Nunnage for a lot cheaper than mine. Of course, I got the photo books that I will probably never look at. Hey, Blair. Have I met Lloyd Kaufman? No, but I've seen him several times. He's always, most of the time when they have a trauma booth at these conventions, he's been there most of the time. But I've never gone up to say hi or anything. One of my Christmas gifts, Discipline of Shaolin. It's an 88 films. I'd never seen this one before. And it's got a very weird... the story is pretty standard. But there's some twists and the turns between the two characters and stuff. But definitely, good stuff. And, of course, another Christmas gift. I watched one of the first episode, The Ripper, from the Night Stalker series. Really looks excellent. It looks pretty much as the films did. Yes. I think Lloyd Kaufman was in Guardians of the Galaxy, so you can get your Blu-ray signed or 4K. And here's one that I'm really confused on. The new Transformers Steelbook, which is cool. And I did find out they're using the same 4K transfer that they released in 2017. And I was always under the impression that that was the worst transfer or worst 4K ever. And I'll be surprised. I mean, I watched this and I really did not see anything that was anything that didn't look good. Of course, there is no grain in this film at all. So they definitely scrubbed it, but there's plenty of detail. Did I say Transformers? I said Terminator 2, but.
I think you did say Transformers.
All right, whatever, Wes. Yes, I know they're great glasses, dude. Well, Scott, I'm sure that Dana bought it, and I forgot it was down to $50 or $49.99. So I'm assuming it'll go down a lot further here in the next couple months. Yes, Kaufman was in Rocky. Or I'm gonna take your word for it because I can't remember, but sure. I actually wore these in the Walmart today, and they didn't take them off, and I kind of felt like a douche. But you know, screw it. One of my Kino things that I received just a few weeks ago, Guyana, Cult of the Damned. Very exploitive thing about Jonestown, or in this case, Johnsontown. Very insane. One of my 5 obscure slashers from the 1980s.
He was not prepared for that.
The Dark Intruder with Bonnie Ducci, I believe is
Is that Deadly Intruder?
Deadly Intruder. That is Terror at Tin Killer. Last Slumber Party. Offerings. There you go. That's 4. I'm not saying any of them are worth a crap, but you know. And I did finish the Massive Nundle. Now, let me say the last one, the Bruno Mattei entry of the true story of the Nun of Monza. It looks like garbage. It is really grainy. And I don't even recall seeing a scene that did not look foggy. So, and I don't know if it wasn't as crazy as the images in a convent. So, it was less. Did you? That is like I guess that's a low rent. Offerings is a low rent Halloween. Pretty much, with a dumb, maybe a low intelligent guy as the killer. But that's the Nundle. I'm sure that me and Wes will do a...
You know, we forgot to include Blood Lake.
Blood Lake, there's another slasher. With Big Tony. Shout outs. Little Tony. Big shout outs to Little Tony. One of the best characters ever. Tarzan from Intrepious Punks. And the whole cast of Mad Foxes. Whoa. One thing I did want to say that, well, let's see. City in Panic. I don't know if I've seen that one, Darren. I might probably have to check it out, as they say. One thing I think yesterday, Sidney Poitier died. And, you know, when I was a kid, I lived in the country. Didn't see a lot of black people. And we had this big antenna on top of our house to get channels. And if the weather was right, I would get a channel out of Bloomington, Indiana. And they were like a movie channel for most parts. They would show movies. That's where I saw Sammy Terry. That was his TV station. And after he went out, after like Sammy Terry went off the air or something, they would just show other kinds of movies. One of the movies I happened to saw was Lily's in the Field or Of the Field. And I'd never seen a black man talk like Sidney Poitier and everything. I mean, he was really high class the way he spoke, and that was me farting. I'm not high class. But it was just a weird thing to see somebody I'd never like that back then. And I've recently found out he was maybe half, or I thought he was British for a long time, but he's from they said something like Bahamas. Maybe he was born there or raised or went there. I don't know, but anyway, definitely a good actor and director. He directed some wild movies back in the 70s. Or yeah. He directed Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Yeah. So Scott's saying that don't go in the woods, or don't go in the house near the woods, is a good one. Yeah, it's a weird, to me that's more of a like a Psycho kind of theme movie. But you know, oh yeah, Beta Fed, is that with Stockard Channing? I think I remember that one. That's one that used to be on TV back in the day when I was a kid. I see, Blair. But yeah, I remember that one.
See, guys, that when you're going to
Yes.
help somebody and be stylish, you need Pioneer Woman.
I don't know about stylish.
It's stylish.
Only a woman would want that knife. Yeah, Shoot to Kill I saw that at the theater because that came out when I was in the Army, and I just went to the movies all the time. And that was like one of his first movies back from like a long time. It was just a strange kind of film for him to be in. I mean, obviously he made some crime films with, you know, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs and The Organization. And
He didn't do In the Heat of the Night, did he?
yes, he was in that.
Right. That's what it was.
That was part of that was a trilogy of films. It was kind of a weird trilogy, but you know. Anyway, so I had not opened my Shaw Brothers set yet, because I generally do not watch these type of films on Saturday. I usually watch them at least one movie on Sunday. That's my tradition. That's my schedule. I can't change it. I would have changed it, but we had to run around like a motherfucker all day until about noon or 11:30 or so. And I did not have time. So, I know this thing right here, I probably will keep it, even though I know it's kind of, I know that it's a J. It's a J, guys. J card. A giant J card. Alright, now. Here it goes. Look. Look. Oh, shit. We'll be back after this. No. Little booklet. The Chinatown Kid, which I have that poster, I believe. Maybe no, I don't have this poster. I think I got a mini poster or something, original mini poster or a smaller size poster, and it's been lost for years, like a decade, and I have no clue where it's at. I might still have it, it might not. All right, let's see here. I mean, obviously, I'm sure everybody's interested. There's always sell some of these. King Boxer, which is awesome. Boxer from Shaotung. The 5 Shaolin Masters, which I've seen. I'm pretty sure. It's got Shaolin Temple, which I don't believe is the one with Jet Li, but it might be. This one I'm really not really that interested in, but I'll watch it at some point. Is that Mighty Peking Man, which is a King Kong kind of ripoff. Challenge of the Masters, which I'd seen at some point, but Executioners from Shaolin I was a real big fan of. And this is the one I'll be watching tomorrow because it is one of my favorites for many reasons. Chinatown Kid. Let me see if I can find the very great DVD version of it. I found it. Okay. Let's see here. Hello? Ba-boom. This is the great DVD version. It's in Shawscope, if you want to believe that. And it looks like dog shit. And it is not in widescreen. And most of all these films came with the Venoms because of the 5 Deadly Venoms, which is a big. I mean, almost all those films, and Chang Chi was the director. All the films of those are just way above average to great. So that one's going. I guess I'll try to trade it in. I don't know if anybody will want it. And then we have the 5 Deadly Venoms, which I guess called the 5 Venoms, and the Crippled Avengers, which I believe is Return of the 5 Venoms. At least they title that. Heroes of the East, which is a really strange martial arts movies. Because I don't think anyone dies in that film. It's a little bit more good-natured. So, I mean, maybe if you had kids, you could say, hey, you watch this, no one really dies. The other one, of course, is the funny title Dirty Ho, which is H-O. And apparently that's not, it doesn't mean it's about a chick or, it's a kind of a comedic one. But supposed to be a real good one. And got some music from Chinatown Kid and Shaolin Temple. 5 Deadly Venoms. Of course, I'll have to rip these because I don't really have any stereo equipment to play them on. But really looking forward to diving into these over the next probably 3 months. Because I think, I'm not going to watch them all. The snow situation is up here. We got plenty of... we did not get the massive amounts, but we got like about 2 to 3 inches, I would guess. But it's way above freezing now, so hopefully we'll get all that gone soon. It's been freaking cold as hell, so hopefully we'll. I had all that buildup of ice underneath my car, and it was really causing it not to steer. The tires were rubbing against it, but anyway, that's all gone now. It fell off, and I kicked off the last piece. So, have I seen Twice Dead with Todd Bridges? No. Boxer's Omen, yeah. There's one the Buddha's Palm or something. I want to watch it, but I've not. If I have, I forgot it. But I definitely watched Boxer's Omen. That's some wild shit. But yeah, I hate the thing about snow is now they got to put all that crap down on the roads, and it gets all over your car. I think they use something different that it doesn't corrode underneath your vehicle, but I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to get that shit off. And it's too bad that Robert Long is not in here. So I think he was the one asking about Death Games or Death Game or whatever. And now it's coming out from Grindhouse Releasing. So I'm sure that'll answer one of those questions. It will. Yes. So let's see here. Now, I did watch on Shudder. They had some of those homegrown horrors. I think they got all 3 of them on there. I watched Beyond Death's Door last night, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, they had this naked chick that was kind of walking around in it, or topless, so that elevated the star rating. I thought it, for what it was, it's not too bad. And I saw parts or most of Winter Beast, but that one is the more crazier of the thing. Oh, frogs. Yeah, I'm not a big Frogs fan of the movie. So I don't know about that one. Also, I need to talk to Darren about his breach of contract. He was on another YouTube show and without proper notification, so I'll have to get our DEADPIT HR people to, give him I have to put something on his record. I don't know what frogged means, Jackson Jack. Hopefully it's not but I'm not sure. I don't think I am afraid. Hey, well, there's the yeah, Darren, I did order that, or actually Dana ordered it for me, the Jalo set. I am interested in that. Yeah, exactly, Jackson.
Oh, I forgot I did order you that.
Yeah.
Supposed to already get that?
No, I think it's at the end of the month or something. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely saw Sister of Ursula. There is an HD rip of it out there, and I've seen that at least once. So, but I mean, it'll be better on Blu-ray. I don't know about The Killer Is Still Among Us. It's almost like I should have seen that. Maybe I have, but I forgot. I tried to watch The Black Angel, but the quality that's available is not very good. So I'll definitely be watching that probably first. What happened to Bray Wyatt? Who knows? But they keep on going on like he's some dream. I'm not a big fan of Bray Wyatt or was it Wyndham Rotundo or whatever. I just don't think he's that interesting of a wrestler. I mean, maybe a character, but I mean, I guess people like characters, but I like the wrestling, and I don't really see him as a big main event guy, in my opinion. But yeah, I know the Battle of the Belts is on tonight. I'll tell you what, that fight last week on Rampage with those ladies was pretty crazy. And then, of course, seeing Ray Phoenix but dislocate his arm at the elbow. I can't believe he didn't break it. That was insane. Ooh, I like nasty Jallos. nasty jelly, as they say. When did you? Oh. Oh. They definitely did that. I don't know if they called it frogging, Jackson. I definitely got hit on the shoulder. But yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest, I dropped Peacock, the $5 a month plan. I just dropped it because I'm not interested in anything since they screwed up NXT. And I mean, I really want to watch NXT UK, and I can get it if I want to watch it, but at this point, it's just like the one thing about the UK version is they don't have no audiences, or very, at least up to what I saw, and that really adds a lot to the product. I mean, it just reactions. Whoa. But jelly, come Marie, tell me. Shoot. What did I watch earlier, Dana? Before, the middle movie. Oh, the Mansion of the Doomed. From the 70s. I don't think I've ever seen all of that. Had a young, middle-aged Lance Hendrickson. Yeah, Blair, but I mean, honestly, I don't see that ever happening. Triple H ain't going to AEW. I really don't think that'll happen. But I'm no expert, but I just don't see. And plus, I think they, as far as creative and everything, I think they only got, they got a lot of, minds there. They don't really need them. Uh-oh, Jackson's lagging? I got this thing on some kind of low lag or some shit setting, but it don't matter. There's always going to be latency. Especially for my connection, I don't have. I mean, I'm paying good money for freaking crazy. I mean, I'm paying $70 a month, $73. But it is what it is. It's better than some. I mean, download speeds are great, but upload speeds maybe are not optimized. But the one thing is, it's kind of funny about YouTube is my channel. Well, my channel has been dormant for a long time, and I had this Mexican horror film that I wanted to watch, but there is no subtitles. But if you upload the movie to YouTube, it'll auto translate it and stuff, even though it really 60% of it is about what you can understand or make sense in the translation. Anyway, that film got like 77,000 views, and right now it's at 88. And all these Mexican or Spanish-speaking guys are commenting and stuff. So I uploaded a couple more movies, and I have like over 755 subscribers right now, which is funny because a few months ago, before I put that movie on there, I had like 240 something. So Darren saying, what did you and Dana order from Severin? I just ordered, she didn't order anything, but I ordered Santa Segre 4K and Patrick Still Lives, which I I think is a great, fun movie. I did not order the Dick Demon because I'm not paying all that money. Yeah, Darren, I do need to monetize, even though I know it won't make 4 cents, but, you know, at some point. But I can't, they have, one of the movies, they put copyright on it, and I guess they're going to put commercials on it, and they're going to get paid off of it. I don't know, from some obscure Mexican horror film from the 60s. Somebody still got the rights to it. Even, I don't know. Yeah, the translators are off, but I mean, I've watched a couple of those that had it, and I said, fuck yeah. Santa Seagram's, that's a good drink. Or Sangria, Santa Segria. Hey, Brad. The Nundle, I mean, I could give a brief one, but I think me and Wes were going to do a full-on video of it. That's cool, Scott. I mean, I accidentally stumbled on it. It wasn't intentional, but if I can get my channel up there in numbers and monetize it, maybe I can make $3 a month. So, if we want to talk about this, Brad. Yeah, I don't think so. I'll end up on those stupid shows where they talk about locales and locales and shit. The Nundle. Ah, damn, Scott. So, yeah, it's a good-looking box. I mean, there's no doubt. And I got the photo books for an extra $5 or whatever it was. Shit. I'll take these off. My eyes are looking old. I know J Real kind of isn't, but I mean, they're not really doing anything because everything's dropped down. I don't know, Jackson. Remember me. I will. I'll quit my job and be begging for money. I need a super chat, guys. So, Christine Devil Nun is one I'd never heard of and saw. It's a strange film. But it's got a little nudity in it, so hell yeah. I agree with that, Jackson. I mean, where are they now? I think that one dude that was on the DEADPIT documentary died, but I don't know. They can go find him. And Cody LL is, who knows? This girl gets, she's screwing her boyfriend on a plane and kind of messing with a nun on there, and then the plane's, they think the plane's going to crash, so the girl says if she lives, she'll become a nun and donate her or devote her life to Christ as a nun. So magically the plane doesn't crash, which I don't know has any godly interference, but she becomes a nun, but she can't really contain herself. She leaves at some point and gets wild, and her mom, and I don't know if it's her father. I don't think it's her father, but her mom's kind of a hoe, and she becomes a hoe, makes some money, and then one of the nuns comes for her to save her. Damn. Yeah, Darren, there's some money-making mugs. But who wants to depend? I mean, I'm sure, but I mean, that kind of money is just crazy. Yeah. I tried to give away a sticker, and the guy who won it never contacted me for the sticker. So, which I don't blame him. Yeah, it was a captain. No, yeah, it was a captain. No, yeah, it was a captain's quarter. Yeah. I'll bring him with me if I go to a next convention, maybe in maybe March or so, when the Horror Hound or something's in Cincinnati. I don't know. It don't matter, but well, Blair, they had to do a lot of crazy stuff with that documentary because they were trying to get that Tony Payne from, he was running Fangoria at the time, and they were trying to make a kind of a conflict and kind of build stuff around that, but they couldn't never get an interview with him, so they had to redo it, and then that's when you go, Uncle Bill Goes to College kind of thing. But us Christine's Story of a Clustered Nun is one of the, I was very surprised about this film. It's got some nasty or naughty bits in it, but it's mainly really classy as a nun exploitation film can be. So, what's her name is in it? Susie Kendall playing a Mother Superior, which was very surprising. But, you know. Well, they showed that one up in, they don't show it. It's not in Louisville, at least the drive-in that we go to. It's in Indiana, but, you know, it's within 30 minutes. So it's a good drive-in experience. I just didn't see anything really worth going over there for this year. Maybe next. It might be. It's the Georgetown drive-in in Georgetown, Indiana. That's Dana. She's making chili. And garbage, too. She's making garbage to throw away. Now, the really sleazy, good-looking one is called Images in a Convent by Joe D'Amato, which you can imagine if you know him, it gets really sleazy fast. And it looks good, as far as I can remember. And again, The Nuns of Mazza is all right. It just looks very bad. Darren said, hey.
Hey, Darren.
We'll talk to you tomorrow, Darren.
Well, he might say me.
Yeah, she might come on here and blab a little bit. I'm going to watch Scream 4 later because I think next weekend or the weekend after Scream 5 comes out or something like that. Now, whether or not to get this, it just depends on your taste. If you're looking for... I mean, they're like the Nurse movies. Let me see if I can find that real quick. The nurses, the 4 features about nurses, and these are all like exploitation films with multiple nudities.
Well, it's like the cheerleader.
And cheerleaders movies. So you know what you're getting when you watch this. It's going to be a little bit of some kind of drama, and a lot of nudity, and a lot of crazy not hijinks. And then same thing with this. It's all about nuns. So you could kind of look around and see if you can find these movies before you buy them. But I was always pretty much all of these I'd never saw before. But so I was, I'm happy with the purchase. How did I get involved with DEADPIT? Well, there used to be a guy, and he came back. He's come back once or twice. Called Jason Payne, and so I kind of talked to him at some point, and we got hanging out, and then there was this place that had a bunch of posters. This guy worked at a military base here at Fort Knox, and I guess somebody worked at the theater there, and he had a whole garage or building full of these old posters. He had original Star Wars posters, Rocky. I bought a original Friday the 13th off him for $15. So, no, well, he knew that the big ones, like, he wouldn't sell the Star Wars cheap, but still, you could still resell them and make double that. But that's kind of where we all met. And I mean, I met him at a convention, but I was only 38 years old. I was still a kid, so I was really shy. But at some point, we just started talking and I called in and we hung out. We hung out for a long time. I went to Darkwoods, and they had a convention there, and where they live. And then, I mean, I don't know, it just happened. We have the same kind of humor for the most part. And I don't know. I'm definitely the oldest person. They're about 10 years younger, but they're still, I mean, that means they're in their 40s, so they should, they don't act young or act old as I do, because I am getting old and I have to go to sleep. Hello, Tennessean. Ooh, I didn't even know we had a newsletter. Nah. Yeah. Here's my MasterCard. Everybody gets T-bone steaks for my man. Creepy Kentuckian. He gets a big old steak. Those were the old days. The new days are a lot calmer. They were doing Jägermeister bombs and all kinds of nuts. And I was too, and that was crazy shit. Now that's all gone because everybody's too old to do it, or at the very least smarter, because they don't want to face the coincidences. Hey, DEADPIT on Patreon.com. Tier start at $1. Definitely check it out, because great things are happening hopefully in the next couple of months. And definitely for me on there, I would be doing some cool stuff. There is an episode 3 that I taped in June of the Oh My show. That Steam Dough shit is awesome, but guess what? That fucking place changed management, and they no longer have the Steam rolls. And I freaking love those, so I'm gonna have to get Dana to fucking make those. Yeah, Adam Beck's on Facebook a lot, Darren. Brad, Greed, I think you can get a cheaper version. I mean, you can buy this like on deep discount. I think Wes got it for a lot cheaper, like 50 some bucks maybe. As far as the best one, as we're just talking about movies and not nudity and exploitation, Story of a Clustered Nun is the best one. Now, we're talking about nudity and craziness. Images in a Convent is the best one. So you can pick one out. Yeah, Pacifico Joe. He's definitely on Facebook. If you're a friend, he always posts a lot of shit. If you're friends with him on there, definitely it was pricey. But it's one of those things where stupid people like me can't wait or don't look and get it. But yeah. But again, like I say, Terminator 2 4K, I thought it looked really good. I mean, obviously it looks a little strange because there is no film grain, but I didn't notice any lack of detail. But the one thing about this one is it's only the theatrical cut, so that kind of is a bummer with all the extra extended editions that they have out. DEADPIT on Patreon recommend the Day of the Judgment from Severin. Well, that's his recommendation. I don't think that's a. I don't think I've seen that. I'm sure I got a VHS rip of it, but
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Those people from House of Death or Death Screens that has a couple of.
Wes must have got it from Severin or something. Christian Slater. Or Christian Slasher, he says it is.
The lady from Deathstream was in it, and the guy that with the disability in the middle.
If you want to see a really good Christian horror film, it's called Locked In. We did a commentary for it, me and Dana. I don't know if we might have done one or two. Yeah, it is ridiculous.
It was so ridiculous we had to do 2 long.
The ridiculous cause of the horror, if you want to call it the horror, is ridiculous. It's an 80s slasher set in the 30s. That's true. It's a Christian slasher set in the 30s. Hot damn, the V-Man. Scott J. Reel's films have to be 100% better than Sean C. Phillips's The Cool Duder films. I don't care how much weight he's lost and hair, he's still not a J. Reel type of guy. Well, there you go. Wes is recommending Day of Judgment. Terminator 2, Day of Judgment. I'm thinking about doing a watch along for this film. It's on YouTube, and I'm not it's not monetized, this show, this thing, so you ain't going to get commercials. Or at least I'm not going to get paid for them, or Wes. I just trying to get around some of the limits. But there's a Cynthia Rothrock movie called Undefeated or Undefeatable or something. It is fucking crazy and it's wild. And I've seen it before, but I haven't watched it in a while. So it might be something we can stream, or you can at very least watch along because it's on YouTube. And I make sure it's not the edited version. So I don't think there's any nudity, but there might be. And there's definitely violence. Also, we're going to be recording, hey Chris, Blade of the Immortal. I've heard of it, but I've not seen it. I need to watch it. What was this? There was one called Shadow, I thought, that came out a year or two ago. I got a 4K of it, and man, that thing looks... It almost looks... The color palette is pretty... like black and white almost. It looks really good. And it was it's kind of a martial arts film, but it's more weapons. Pretty I didn't see it before I bought it, but I was hoping it would be at least decent, and it is. But yeah, there's a lot of films I need to catch up on. I need to have another Christmas vacation so I can just not do shit. It just seems like when I get up in the morning on a weekend, obviously I go to the gym because that's part of my routine, and but after that I could come home and watch movies, but of course Dana has stuff that needs to be done, so we have to go out. I usually don't get back to the house 11 o'clock, noon, so therefore I'm kind of like, damn, I've lost that much amount of time. And so it's kind of shitty, but I got MLK Day off here after this week, so maybe I can catch up on a few movies. Speaking of my gym time, there's a new energy drink at Walmart called Lit. And the version I had, it's gummy worm flavored, which whatever, it was all right. And it's no sugar, but the thing is, it's got like over 50 or 350 milligrams. 350 milligrams of caffeine. So I was expecting this big rush. So I was drinking it while I was lifting weights and stuff, and I didn't I did have a little extra pep in my step. So we found we went to another Walmart today, and I found it again, and they had a watermelon Jolly Rancher flavor. But the thing about it was it did not have the extra caffeine in it. It has like 250 milligrams. So I don't know. Wes. I mean, I was going to also mention when I stayed up for that Hall of Mania thing, the next day I felt like dog crap. It took me a couple days. Yeah, I was lit this morning. I was lit on the gym going boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I know. I'm going to lose my sponsorship from Bang and C4. But I'm still drinking C4. And before I got the lit this morning, we were in Kroger's and I got a Zoa from The Rock, his energy drink. So, what you doing?
This stuff up here is about to fall.
Must be an earthquake. There's some weird shit about Bang. I mean, you can get that messes your stomach up a little bit, right, Dana? Bang? Sometimes. So, I was messed up for a few days over Christmas. So, I don't know if I'm going to stay up that late.
No, you were messed up on New Year's. You couldn't even stay up with me.
Yeah, New Year's I was still messed up. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just need sleep. I slept pretty good last night, but I had a sleep apnea test, which I was told my insurance would pay for, and no, they're not going to pay for it. I have to pay $120.
My mom said it probably did pay for it. It'd been more than that.
Oh. Well, I guess I'm paying my deductible. So, there you go. I guess it is what it is, right? And I did get some new contacts so I can see. They're multi-focus contacts because I can see up close and far away for the most part, but they're not great. Halfway. Oh, well, we'll see, Brad. I don't know. I mean, honestly, that's the latest I've been up in like a couple years. And then after we got done about, I don't know, it was close to 1 or so, I went, one of our dogs, we have a big Basset, and he jumped in the bed with us, and I could not stretch out, so basically I couldn't go to sleep for 45 minutes until he got the hell out of there. Yeah, creatine doesn't really mess me up, but there's a brand I got on Amazon. It was really cheap. It was like $14. It's called Threakine, something like that. It was like $14, and then now I look on there, it's like $25, $24 and something. I was like, fuck, I'm not paying. And I mean, obviously everything's went up over the last year or so because of shit going on. So I'm still getting some creatine from the Powerade Ultra. I'm sure it's not very much, but it's not too bad, I guess. And I'm hopefully getting some hair in here. Little fine hairs, but I'm using Rogaine to grow some hair here, which, watching online, it shows, it actually does work for the, sometime. I mean, it doesn't work perfectly, but it does work. But you got to use the shit for like a 6 months to a year which I've been using it for at least 6 or 7, 6, probably, coming up on 7 months. I see the fine hair, but if it doesn't have any color into it, that's gonna just go away if you stop. You have to wait until it grows in some like colored hair instead of the peach fuzz. Yeah, that was a fun show. I don't know. Everybody thinks I like the part where they was asking me about being a liability. I thought that was funny. I guess I am. I'm a wild card. What was my favorite all-time autograph? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, obviously John Carpenter was. We didn't really speak that much, but I mean, I like seeing him, and I know he talked about Dana a little bit. Barbara Boucher was awesome. I met her at a Cinema Wasteland. Yeah. And yeah, Zoe Bell. And then met Jordan Ladd from Death Proof as well, and she was a little bitty lady. She's got that accent too, which I was a little surprised. Chris, did I like New York Ninja? I mean, it was all right. It was fun for what it was, and then also the gimmick of the voice actors. I didn't know. I knew some of the voice actors, but not all of them. So that was, I mean, it was okay. It was fun for what it was. It was just kind of goofy fun, which is, like Miami Connection. If you want another ninja movie, or not a ninja movie, but a martial arts movie that's completely it's funny as hell. Yeah, or Pans. What's your favorite release of 2021? Of newer films, I guess I rewatched it over the holiday week I had off. Malignant is probably the favorite one. I rewatched it, and now knowing the story and stuff, I could watch it a little bit more and see those little hints. But I saw the hints at the beginning. I knew something was weird about the killer, but I didn't know for sure. I don't think I got the Wraith in here. That's one of my favorite releases of the year was the Wraith. I was gonna put that back in the rack. If you hadn't gotten that, I mean, $12 or so. That's definitely a great film with a really good soundtrack. Yes, Nightmare Alley. I really don't know about some. There's going to the movies a lot. I'm not sure if I will do that. I didn't do it a lot before the pandemic. I mean, sometimes I would go like maybe twice a month, but now I'm just like, I'll wait till it comes out and I'll watch it. Yeah, Vestron Videos. I mean, definitely for what the price of the films are and the quality, that's like the biggest bargain of the market, as they say. And tomorrow we're recording a new episode of Eurocult, and Dana picked Gates of Hell, City of the Living Dead, which we just rewatched. And that's probably the best transfer. It's from Scorpion. It's probably the best transfer of the film I'm gonna guess available. Antlers was okay. I don't know. There was just something about it. I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know about it. There was some wacky stuff, but I mean, I don't know if it really caught my attention or stuff, but it, hey. That's a good question, Brad. Do you know what? I don't know what tier it is, to be honest. It might be $1. Hopefully it's $1. Do you know what tier our show's on?
Oh,
No.
I don't know. I'm not privy to that information, I guess.
I don't know. Perhaps we can release this one for free to entice. Okay. Well, DEADPIT on Patreon, can you answer the question, which tier do you need to get the Eurocult podcast? $1, as Darren's saying. Do I have two? I think the $1 tier is appropriate.
Do you, Steve? You don't think much of your show?
No, I mean, it's fine. I'm just saying it's I think it's a good perk. Give all your perks. And there'll be some big perks. Hopefully some watch-alongs that we can do in the near future or so. Yeah. I rewatched my Code Red DVD of Night of the Demon. It's anybody on Patreon, so I guess that means $1 tier and above. I think we should take it away from people paying more. I mean, that's how stupid it is. I've seen people do, or at least they don't, when they put out the list of perks, they leave stuff off, and it sounds like you don't get everything. You don't get the previous perks if you pay more. The Night of the Demon is very interesting because, I mean, I've got the card. And I'm wondering, I mean, I'm really leaning towards getting the House by the Edge of the Park Blu-ray. Because it looked really good as far as... yes, Summer Camp Girls watch along. But everybody has to bring their own raw hot dog. And, we'll discuss it when it comes pertinent. Well, that's a way to do it, Brad.
What?
He said the $50 tier was full, so I'll probably be forced to be a $1 member.
Okay.
It's like the $1 the Dollar Shave Club, but you don't get any physical stuff. You can't shave with it. You just have to.
Well, is it just like a prestige thing or something?
What?
The Dollar Shave.
Well, no, I don't think it's really $1 either.
You didn't get anything to shave with.
Well, I'm sure you get something. Another Ghoulies movie, huh? Look at this. I got a tall boy. Ugh. Yeah, I'm thinking about, I don't want to waste my $20. So I probably will get the House by the Cemetery, or House by the Edge of the Park. And I'll probably get the Night of the Demon down the road. I mean,
There was a House by the Edge of the Park Blu-ray out.
Yeah, Severn put it out. It's like they wanted like $30-something for it on the sale. I don't know. I'm gonna have to make sure. I'm not gonna pay $30 or $35 for sure, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel Randy and get it. Rondi award winning. You could write my show in for the podcast. Have you seen Baba's I think it's Baba's movie, Delirium from the 80s. I can't find a stream of it. I think it's a Region A of it. Yeah, no, probably did raise the house. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were doing. It's probably wanting like $50 for it or something. So they're probably not going to get my. The good thing about the discount card, it's good for like 3 or 4 years to 2026 or something. So maybe I'll wait until another sale and these become a little bit cheaper. I don't know. I have a decent Blu-ray from Dark Force of a house at the edge of the park. It looks decent. If we're talking about Delirium, Lamberto Baba's Delirium. Yeah, I did get there is a Blu-ray out, and it kind of goes up and down. It's definitely it's a kind of a, I'm not sure if I would call it a great giallo, but it's entertaining. The chick in it's hot. I think she was in a Tito Brass movie. She got big boobies. There's plenty of nudity in it, so some weird imagery. So I think you can still get it, but I mean, it may have went up. I got it for maybe under 20 for sure. I don't know. Might have got less than that. Good Lord, Darren. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, I saw Aaron unbox the case and everything. I mean, obviously it's got, I'm sure the extras are good. But to me, the Night of the Demon and the House by the Cemetery, I'm going to have to go with House on the Cemetery first. Man, I think that comes with a soundtrack. That'll be awesome to hear. More and more. So, I actually listened to that. We were driving. It might have been on Christmas, and like the Severin podcast. Halfway through theirs, the second half of it is just music from their releases, and I told Dana, I said they're going to have to play more and more, and they did, and it was like great. I cranked it up. Some good shit. Dana Lynn. Dana. I was going to give Dana some funny times. Dana. Guess I'll have to wait a little bit and see if Dana's going to come in voice distance. Now, I did order. I know that the Diabolic DVD has a great price for the Phenomenon 4K, but Amazon dropped theirs to basically the same price. Of course, you have to pay shipping through Diabolic, so I just went ahead and ordered it from Amazon. And the best thing, one of the good things about Amazon is they don't take the money out right away, so might as well get it. Yeah. The grape scene. I'm not going to say the R word anymore. I'm going to say grape. That way everybody, there's no, I'm not going to get any, pushback. I'm not a grapist. Dana. Not a grapist. One of my watch-alongs that I really want to do is there's a movie just simply called Grape. And they go on the street, and there's a guy with a mic, and he'll go, "Can I ask you a question? What do you feel about grape?" That's just incredible. I just find that completely insane. But, we feel about it. And most of them say no comment. Well, I'm not really for it. Like, no shit. Dana. Yes, Brad, I actually got that on sale because they were really trying to get rid of that. Or at least it was at the time. Yeah, I know. I know, Scott. I did play it. It's a great thing. Yeah, I'm not going to ask it there. But yeah, Other Hell, I think I'm almost sure that's another Bruno Mattei film. No. Is it Joe D'Amato? It's not a Joe D'Amato, I don't think. But anyway, it's a little weird. I mean, it's got like weird. I keep on seeing like a scientist or the test tubes, and they have green shit going through it. But it's. I need to rewatch it, but it's a weird one. It's got that main nun is actually in the Nun of Mazza film, and she's also in. Of course, she's in Beyond the Darkness as the housekeeper that wants to have the young man. Yeah, Bruno Mattei. Bruno. Yeah, I know. After I watched a few of those films, I was afraid I might grape somebody, but you know, I didn't want to get off the couch, so that kind of kills it. There's not a lot of graping going on in my reach, my arm distance, so no grape. Maybe we can make a shirt about grape. I'm against grape. Women Against Grape. That's a movie. I think it's WAR, War. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I think I have, but Acts of Vengeance, where some guy's got the hockey mask on, graping a bunch of women, and they team up to take him down. Yes, Blair, I've seen that. I think it was made. I'm almost 100% sure that was a TV movie, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I've seen that. I mean, I haven't seen it recently, in a couple decades. I think there's a riff tracks of it. That would probably be the only way I would want to watch it now. Dana! Let me go check on her real quick, make sure she's still with us. She's okay. Yes, Brad. Incubus. I got that release as well. That used to show that on CBS Late Night Movie. Of course, with a lot of the blood from the grape cut. But that's a wacky film. But I like it. Devil's Reign, yeah. That was a standard movie back in the day on television. Wow. The Foo Fighters. Yeah, the ending. That chick in there has got a unibrow that kind of ravels the chick from Don't Panic. And then the guy from Iron Maiden doesn't he have like a music video or something in the middle of Incubus or something? I remember that. Chris Dickinson or no, is it Ian Dickinson or something? I can't remember. I'm not a big Iron Maiden fan because all I know is that Eddie guy on the covers. I don't really know anything else. Boop, boop, boop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Shake your booty. Bruce Dickinson. Ah. Shake your booty. Well, we got 24 people watching.
We got 24 people?
Yeah, counting the bots that I purchased, we have 24 people watching. Yeah, they play that in the middle of it. Yeah, it's weird. Here comes Dana. She's got some supplies.
Well, I had some.
She's got her. She's got to have that baby bottle of Mountain Dew Diet or Mountain Dew Zero. She never leaves home without it. Right, Danny?
Like an American Express.
So here's Dana.
As soon as Steve gets out of the way.
I'm trying to get out of the way.
It's dirty.
What's dirty? Oh,
Mine.
well, dust lives around us all. There's a lot of dust.
Get your nasty habits.
I'm gonna leave it there
So I can look at it.
if you want.
Not really, but whatever.
More and more.
I knew Steve was gonna start that. We actually watched a movie with good old Giovanni earlier, which Steve already talked about.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave these here because they ain't got nowhere to put them.
Hey, Blair. Chris V said Bruce. Was you
Bruce.
talking about Bruce Lee? Or...
Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden is in
Hey, Scott.
Incubus.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I know y'all are sad to see Steve go.
Stay. It's all right. Dana, get up.
He's here. He's still here. He's still hanging around in case you guys
I'm still in the
wanted him to, come back or whatever. Hey, Chris V. Hey, DEADPIT on Patreon or Wes, which I figure it's Wes. It's possible it could be Aaron or Uncle Bill, but I highly suspect it's Wesley. So, anyways, I know before you, I did, Darren. I had actually. I'm gonna show a couple of things that Steve got me for Christmas that are movie related. I didn't get much from anybody else that was movie related. So, but I did get some money, which I have not spent yet. So there's some 4Ks and Blu-rays and stuff that's coming up that I will more than likely be purchasing. But yeah, I will show a couple of these here in a second, the ones that Steve got me. And before anybody asked, I did tell Steve today that I need to get back doing my live streams before people forget about me and forget about the channel and all that. And I don't want that to happen. But I have sadly been sick again, and I didn't even know if I was going to feel like being on the end of Steve's live stream tonight. But I'm here. I'm not 100%. I was I was exposed to COVID by a coworker. Well, actually, by my manager at work, and I have been battling my supervisors and Louisville Metro government to allow me to have some time off so I can get rest and try to get better. Now, as many of you know, or that have tried to get the take-home test or schedule a test for COVID, with this new Omicron variant out, it is almost impossible. Well, at least I know in Louisville it's nearly impossible to get one. I was able to get an appointment today with the little clinic to get a test, and they said since it was so far out since I'd been exposed, they didn't want to do the rapid test because they were afraid that if I was infected with it, that the rapid test wouldn't pick it up. So I think I did what is the PCR test or whatever. Thank you, Brad. I hope I do too. But anyway, I'm still battling the two entities to try to get my emergency sick leave, which I should have been able to get all along because I was exposed to COVID. And instead, they were making me telework and cover other people's shifts that they were allowing to be out that were also exposed. So it's a whole big nasty mess that I won't bore you guys with, but that is essentially what's going on right now. Well, Wes, I don't mean he exposed himself in a sexual way. He exposed me and several others to COVID, is what I should properly say. And they try to minimize this shit by saying, well, were you fully vaccinated? Did you have your booster? Well, shit, yeah, I did, but so did my manager that ended up testing positive for it. So there you go. And everybody had their masks on and all that good stuff. But this Omicron is very, very contagious. And, all you got to do is turn on the news and they'll tell these health experts, or so-called health experts, will tell you that even if you're fully vaccinated, even if you got your booster, chances are everybody's going to get this Omicron. And, the good news is, if there can be any good news in the middle of this pandemic, is that the symptoms, and I've told Steve not to put stuff on this light, and I smelled something burning, and I don't know when he's going to learn about that. One of these days we're going to have a fire, and that's not going to be good. But, yeah, so anyway, I totally forgot what I was saying about the pandemic. I got sidetracked by the burning smell coming from the light over there. But anyway, you guys don't want to hear about that going on and on. Darren John Grandi said that he loves my live streams. Well, John is usually always there, or there the majority of the time when I do my live streams. And so I'm glad to know that several people are enjoying them, and it seems that people, when I don't do them, people miss them. And I don't have to have hundreds of thousands of people watching them to get pleasure out of doing them. I love doing the live streams. They're fun. I could have one or two people and still have a good time. Now, when you have 0 people, it's kind of it feels kind of needless. But there were very few times where I didn't have anyone. Blair, yeah, it really seems like it's that contagious that you can get Omicron from just turning on the news and hearing them say the word Omicron. It's like, whoa, don't say that. Brad, you say shouldn't matter if you got anything or whatever. Sick is sick. They should give you leave regardless. Yeah, they should, Brad. And I hope to goodness other people's places of employment are not as persnickety as Louisville Metro government agencies, which the library is part of Louisville Metro government, and the library is what I work for. And they are a pain in the ass with everything. They don't want to give an inch. And these vaccines are great, and the boosters are great, and all that. And I highly recommend, if you can get your vaccines, you get it. But it seems like a lot of these agencies, like Louisville Metro Government, just completely let down their guard as soon as more people started getting the vaccine. It's like we don't have to worry anymore. We don't have to like protect our employees anymore because everybody's getting the vaccine, blah blah blah. And that's just not the case. And then there are people that have weaker immune systems for whatever reason. For instance, I'm type 1 diabetic, and my immune system in the last 2 years has been really shitty. I've gotten just one sickness after another, whether it be sinus infections or whatever, or flus, or Steve never listens. Well, he doesn't listen about that damn light over there. He wants to put a handkerchief over those light bulbs, and I've told him more than once that I smelled it burning, and I smelled it burning tonight. And sure enough, I looked over there. There's a handkerchief on the light bulb. And I know he's trying to... Good Lord, sorry about that. We have dogs running through here.
Talking to me. Talking about
Steve,
me.
that thing was burning again. I had to take it off. But like I said, I think Steve's trying to block some of the light and make it like a softer light in here instead of a harsh, bright light on you. But I think he just needs to get a lamp like mine where it just goes over the top of the monitor. Yes, you could invest in one. But
show's over.
But Wes said Steve never listens, and I said he don't about this. Blair, you want to know, do I have a favorite Dee Wallace movie? And Chris V says hi to the dogs. We'll have to tell him he said hi, Chris V. A favorite Dee Wallace movie?
I know what it is.
Steve's probably going to say Cujo.
No, 13 Fanboy.
No, that's not. I enjoyed that, but no, that wasn't my favorite Dee Wallace movie. I guess, and you're not just saying horror movies, like that's really hard because Dee Wallace is in E.T. and I really like her performance in E.T. She's in The Howling. I really like her performance in that. She's in Cujo. I really like her performance in that. So I'm kind of torn between those three, especially because it just seems like Dee Wallace is really so good in everything that she's in my opinion. So, Blair, that's a good question, but that's a hard one for me to pin down just one favorite. 1,000-meter films, you say, hey, Dana, aside from being vaccinated, masking up, and hand hygiene, you have any tips for convention going in the age of COVID? I'll be going to my first HorrorCon in 2 years next month. No, really, 1,000-meter films, I would say you pretty much covered the gamut of the things to protect yourself, other than, just not going. And at this point, who wants to just stay home any more than they have to? Now, because I haven't gotten results of my COVID test, I haven't been attempting to go out too much. And I probably need to be wearing my mask more when I go out. Of course, when I'm at the library, I'm still required to have my mask on in like common areas where there's going to be, people in close proximity to me. But, all those things that you mentioned are definitely things that you should do if you're considering going to a convention. Any kind of convention, not just horror conventions, but any kind of convention that might be going on that you'd be interested in going to. But, I'm no health expert. I'm no Dr. Fauci or anything. So, you got to take what I say with a grain of salt because, like I said, I'm no expert. I'm pretty much in the same boat as a lot of you guys. We're depending on what the CDC says, what people like Dr. Fauci say, and things like that, because this is still unprecedented territory for a lot of us, unless you're old enough to remember the Spanish flu in the 20s. which I don't think that includes any of us in here. So, yes, she was, Scott, thank you. She was also awesome in The Hills Have Eyes. I mean, that's just what I'm saying. In my opinion, she is awesome in everything she's in. Um, Blair, you think E.T. was your favorite? Cujo was her best performance. She was really good in Cujo. I just, speaking of Cujo, I remember the first time I ever watched Cujo on a video rental, and my mom was watching it with me. And all I can remember my mom talking about was Danny Pintaro's character of Tad, rather. And she was like, that kid is getting on my last nerve. And I've heard other people say that they just wanted to kill that kid, or they wish the dog would kill that kid. And actually, a spoiler alert here for anybody that hasn't read the book Cujo. I'll give you a few seconds to plug your ears or whatever before I say this. But the little boy Tad does die at the end of the book Cujo. But Stephen King has said in more than one interview, I believe, that he was happy that they let Tad live in the movie. Hold on just a second, because I think the dog's on it. Come in here. Come on, Reg. Did Reggie, was he the only one that went down? Be right back, guys. Steve let him out, but he wasn't going to let him back in. Anyway, I hope I didn't spoil that for anybody. I hope I gave you enough time to plug your ears in case you haven't read the Stephen King novel of the same name. So, anyway, you guys feel free to make some more comments, ask some more questions as I'm doing this, but I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a few things. One thing that I got myself, and a couple of things that Steve got me for Christmas, and then I was going to talk about something else, which I'll surprise you guys with here in just a second. Blair, it's been a while since I read Cujo and or reread it, because every few years I like to reread my Stephen King novels because I love Stephen King novels. I don't know what I'm going to do when that man passes away. I guess try to find a new author to read, but Stephen King's my all-time favorite author of, I've read other good authors, like Peter Straub's a good author and stuff. Dean Koontz is a good author. There are several good authors, but I don't know, there's just something about Stephen King that just makes you want more and more and more from this guy, or to go back and revisit his stories after it's been a few years since you read them. But I want to say that he died in the book of an asthma attack brought on by all of the stuff with the dog, and his mother not being able to get him out and get him into a space of fresh air and all of that. That is my memory. Now, I may have to get back to you on that because I could be slightly wrong on that. Okay, so Scott, you could be right, because it was supposed to be really super hot. And actually, it was not hot when they made the movie. It was not hot when they made the movie, but they had to make it appear like it was really super hot, like the dead of summer. and they had to, spritz them with water to make it look like they were sweating and stuff. And it was really actually cold. And if you notice, Danny Pintaro in some scenes has like sweatshirts on and things like that, and Dee Wallace had long sleeve top with her dress, and slowly those over time in the movie those layers start to come off. But I can only imagine how miserable it was for them, for it being that cold and having to be sprayed down to make it look like they were sweating and things of that nature. Blair, have I read anything by Jack Ketchum? I honestly cannot say. I am aware of Jack Ketchum and some of his books, but I cannot honestly say that I've read anything by him. If you have, maybe perhaps you can recommend a certain title to me. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead. You guys feel free to comment and ask questions in there, but I'm going to go ahead and get started and show a couple of things that Steve got me for Christmas that are movie related. And one is Scream Factory's release. Let me tilt that forward a little bit so you guys can see the title. Is Killer Party. Now this was, at least for me, this was a highly sought after movie for a long time. And the first time I saw it, I was able to obtain a VHS, I believe through auctions. And the beginning, I want to say the beginning or somewhere on the tape, it was messed up. And it may have been that I didn't even get to watch it because the tape would not play. And I did the whole thing of like taking it apart and trying to splice it together, and nothing worked basically. So thankfully, I don't recall spending a lot on that VHS through auctions. So my next ability to be able to watch it came when the Warner Archive Collection put out a DVD of it. And I think that, it was either that or Steve found me an HD copy to watch. And in any event, I was able to finally watch it. And at first I was a little disappointed in Killer Party because I thought it was going to be a straight up slasher movie, and that's just what I was expecting. But this movie takes a lot of twists and turns. It almost feels like the filmmakers didn't actually know what direction they wanted to go with this movie. Yes, Darren, it is a strange mix of slasher and possession film, definitely. It has elements of all kinds of things: slasher films, possession films, I saw Evil Dead inspirations in this movie too, especially when the possession part kicks in. But the first time I watched it, I was like, what in the heck is going on? Because they had the whole setup with the guillotine, and people actually were seemed to be killed in slasher fashion. I also like the twist at the beginning. You think you're actually starting to watch the movie, where there's a funeral, and the daughter-in-law goes back to talk to the dead mother, and she's like, I hope you rot in hell, you old woman, or old bitch, or whatever she's going. And then ends up like going into the furnace where the mother is going to be cremated. She gets pulled into the casket, and then the casket goes into the cremation furnace. But then we pull back. That's not the movie we're supposed to be watching. This is a movie that a girl and her boyfriend are watching at the drive-in, but that doesn't even turn out to be the main movie. We discover that this is a rock music video that the girl in the main Killer Party movie is watching. Because when we pull back from that, we actually get into the beginning of what is to be Killer Party. And I guess you could call Killer Party an April Fool's Day slasher slash possession movie. Um, and I think the effects are real. The possession effects are really really great in my opinion. When they kick in, um, and it's got some nudity in it to please you guys that like to see that, and there's plenty of that. There's college hijinks that seem almost like taken out of one of these teen sex comedies or college sex comedies or whatever of the past. I mean, there's all kinds of things mixed into this movie. And for people with a sharp eye, you will see Sherry Willis Birch, who also is in a Final Exam as the pretty blonde sorority type girl in Final Exam. In Killer Party, she's a kind of nerdy, really super smart Vivia, which is odd. I never heard the name Vivia before this movie. But she has glasses and kind of frizzier hair. Doesn't look anything like she does on Final Exam. But I thought she did really well in both movies. And I'm not going to go into complete details about Killer Party in case there's some of you that have not seen it yet and are interested in seeing it. I'm guessing this came out 85, 86. Yeah, 86. So, a basic storyline for this one. It's April Fool's Day, and the Sisters of Sigma Alpha Pi believe they found the perfect place to throw a party. The abandoned fraternity house where a guillotine pledge once lost his head in a hazing gone awry. And they're not supposed to go to this old fraternity house. Of course, they end up doing so, and craziness and deaths ensue. But shortly after the revelry begins, the student body count starts to rise as the vengeful pledge returns from the grave and makes it a party to die for. Featuring appearances by Paul Bartel, for you Paul Bartel fans, and Martin Hewitt from Endless Love and Alien Predators. And the debut of Joanna Johnson, who would graduate a year later to her longtime best-known role on The Bold and the Beautiful, for those of you that watch soap operas. Killer Party was written by Barney Cohen, who I'm thinking wrote Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And it's directed by William Fruitt, who did House by the Lake, Spasms, and Funeral Home. So the special features on this one are it's not packed with special features, but I like the ones that are on here. So you get new interviews with actors Ralph Seymour and Sherry Willis Birch, writer Barney Cohen, and composer John Bill, and more. But anyway, that's Killer Party. I highly recommend this one if you haven't watched it. The other one was one that I'd been wanting for a little while, and Steve also got me this, is Wes Craven's Deadly Friend. You'll notice that this is a collector's edition. This is also from Screen Factory. Again, not completely packed with special features. You get a new 2K scan from the Inner Positive. You get new interviews with actress Christy Swanson, writer Bruce Joel Rubin, composer Charles Bernstein, and special makeup effects artist Lance Anderson. Plus, you get a theatrical trailer. So, not a lot there. I can't really say I've rewatched it just yet. I did rewatch Killer Party, and the transfer was decent on that one. So I will have to get back with you guys on the transfer for Deadly Friend. But for those of you that don't know the story of this, I'll give a quick rundown on it. Wes Craven did direct it. It's got Matthew Bortux, who was on Little House on the Prairie. And he plays a teenage genius, Paul, who's also a specialist in brain research. And he has two best friends, his remarkable robot and a beautiful girl next door, played by Christy Swanson. When tragedy strikes both of his friends, he desperately tries to save them by pushing technology beyond its own limits into a terrifying new realm. Like a modern-day Dr. Frankenstein, Paul discovers too late that he has created a rampaging monster. Deadly Friend is a witty ghoul story. It deliberately teeters on the edge of spoof. And that quote was from the New York Times. There are some funny things in this, as well as some of the jump scares and the gore and all of that. And I actually caught Deadly Friend for the first time on late night television when I was probably around 12 or 13. My parents got me a 13-inch black and white TV for my bedroom. I just thought that was awesome, and then I graduated to a 13-inch color TV later on. But I think I still had the 13-inch black and white. And, as Steve has said, sometimes he would get these certain channels would come in if the weather was just right and the antenna was turned just right and all that. Well, the same thing kind of happened with me. I would get certain channels, and I can't remember the exact channel at this time, but it came in really clear really late at night. And I could not believe what I was seeing, because I caught Deadly Friend at the part where the basketball is thrown at Anne Ramsey's head and the head explodes and the body is jerking all over the place and there's blood shooting out. I couldn't believe I was seeing this on regular television station, is the thing. And occasionally that would happen, where you'd run across stuff like either really late at night or maybe on in the middle of the day when they thought kids wouldn't be watching. You would see this grotesque stuff and you'd be like, wow, what is this? And then I figured out what the name of the movie was, and later watched it in full. And I still love it. I think it's one of Wes Craven's great films, in my opinion. Maybe not Nightmare on Elm Street level, but definitely up there. It is based on a book called Friend. And I have read the book. It's been a while since I read it, but the book is really good as well. Scott, you say you rewatched Deadly Friend recently off of TCM Underground. Weird mix of a movie that feels like a cutesy short circuit movie and Wes Craven horror movie. Yeah, and not to go into too much detail in case there's somebody in here that has never seen Deadly Friend, but I felt great. I guess I felt greater sadness and greater pain in the movie when bad things happened to the robot than what happened to Christy Swanson. I know that's weird, but it shows at the beginning of the movie that BV, or BB, I don't know if it's BV or BB, but it's something like that. That there's a sinister side to this robot. There's something kind of off with the robot, as you'll see in one of the first scenes. But for the most part, the robot seems to follow Paul around and plays basketball with the kids and does all these, friend things that, I was lonely in my childhood at times too. And man, I would have loved to had a robot friend to, you know, to play ball with, or to just follow me around to keep me company and stuff. And you know, most lonely kids, or maybe not lonely kids, just kids maybe that didn't have a sibling. And I had a sibling. I had when I was 6 years old, my brother was born. Um, but and me and my brother were always close, but I guess I've always had an interest in robotics, and this whole idea of having a robot friend really appealed to me. Um, I hope that doesn't sound too weird, but anyway, um, that is Deadly Friend, and as I said before, if you guys want to ask me about the transfer later after I have had a chance to watch it, I will be able to give you a more detailed description of that. Um, One that I bought for myself recently is, and I thought I'd already bought this, but it turns out I hadn't, so I must have watched it on Prime in 4K. So I can tell you that the 4K transfer is excellent on this, but it's Silence of the Lambs. I have always loved this movie. It's a very complex movie. Has a lot of twists and turns in it. Has great characterization in it. I mean, Jodie Foster is dead on in her role of Clarice. Anthony Hopkins is great as Hannibal Lecter. Scott Glenn, as most of you would remember from Walking Dead, as Herschel, is in this. I can't remember the exact character he plays right now. Maybe somebody can refresh my memory. But the Buffalo Bill character played expertly by Ted Levine. I mean, I don't know if I've told y'all this story before. I may have said it in my live stream, but speaking of Ted Levine, he has one of those unusual voices that as soon as you hear it, you know, hey, that's Ted Levine, if you know who Ted Levine is. So, back several years ago, when Steve and I first started dating, I got really sick with a stomach bug. And it messed with my blood sugars. I ended up in the hospital. And I think I was maybe in the emergency room area or something. And across the way in another little cubicle, there was a guy, and if I looked at it in his face, I would know it was not Ted Levine. But what is it, dear?
Nothing.
Okay. Steve's just listened to me tell this story, I guess. But anyway, I just heard the guy's voice. I didn't see his face or anything. He sounded exactly like Ted Levine. I could have sworn it was Buffalo Bill over there in that across the way. It was kind of creepy and kind of neat at the same time. Steve, what are you doing?
It's about 8 o'clock, honey.
I know. I'm gonna be finishing up here shortly.
All right, you got more stories about hospitals and diabetes?
No, that I was telling a Ted Levine story, Steve.
I know we all have our favorite Ted Levine stories, but come on now.
You know who Ted Levine
I know who
is.
Ted Levine is.
But anyway, the special features on this 4K are you get audio commentary by film historian Tim Lucas, Inside the Labyrinth documentary, you get a page-to-screen documentary, Understanding the Madness featurette, Scoring the Silence featurette, original 1991 making of featurette, Jonathan Demme and Jodie Foster interviews, deleted scenes, outtakes, an Anthony Hopkins phone message, TV spots, a teaser, and trailer. And so that's Silence of the Lambs in 4K. Oh, sorry, Scott. Yes, you're right. Get Scott Glenn and Scott Wilson mixed up. I am so sorry about that. Yeah, Scott Wilson, you are absolutely correct. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can see the sickness is going to my brain. because I'm, get mixed up on things. Um, Darren, I certainly agree. Silence of the Lambs is a bona fide classic. Uh, Manhunter and Hannibal, both great films too. And yes, I think I've seen both of those, but it has been so long since I've seen them. And it seems like I may have read the book Manhunter a long, long time ago. Don't ask me to uh, bring up any comparisons between it and the movie because I couldn't at this point. But anyway, since Steve's reminded me that it's almost 8 o'clock, I will talk about one more thing. And hopefully I won't get confused at like the Scott Wilson, Scott Glenn thing. Oh man, I'm not doing well at all. Um, but what I wanted to bring up was I've had this set for a while, but I thought I would bring it up for those of you that maybe haven't watched these in a while, or maybe you haven't even watched it at all. You could be of the generation like I was growing up in the 80s and watching the 80s version of this. But that is the Twilight Zone. And you'll notice I have the complete series. This is the DVD set. And I hadn't really, I think I watched one episode and then I went a while without watching any. So now I'm kind of like binge watching the episodes. I've been watching a few every night till I get sleepy. And Brad, you say Manhunter is more of a crime movie than a horror movie. Still really good. Michael Mann movie. Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember it being more of a crime movie. But back to Twilight Zone. I don't know how many of you in here have seen any of the original episodes. There are some in the 80s series that were inspired by stories in the original Twilight Zone series, and they kind of updated them and maybe changed a few things and stuff to make them more for modern times. But so far, the episodes that I watched, I'm on I think I'm getting ready to start the third disc, and they're a mixture. Some of them are kind of creepy. Some of them are kind of more drama based. Some of them have some, funny scenes in them. Some of them are a mixture of all those things. Some of them are more sci-fi. So you get a lot of variety. One of my favorites that I've been watching recently was on disc 2, and it's Time Enough at Last, and it has Burgess Meredith on it. And anybody that loves to read, I think will appreciate and feel some sadness for Burgess Meredith's character in this, because he is a man. He works at a bank. He's a bank teller, and his wife is a real bitch, and she actually tears up his books and marks through the words so he can't read them, and then she actually tears up the book. So the poor man never really has time to read. He tries to read on the job. He gets in trouble with his boss for not paying attention and read. He's like, nobody wants to hear about you talk about this book dribble. So he tries to take every opportunity he can to read little snippets. And I mean, he's a really big reader. He's even he'll read magazines, he'll read newspapers, he'll read people's labels where they said they voted when it's election time. I mean, he's a really, really a big reader. But he struggles through the majority of this episode until there is a bomb that's dropped. And Steve, I am almost done. I see you peeking there. But a bomb explodes, and he's basically the only one left alive. Steve, you look like that puppet or whatever on Clash Reunion Massacre or the Redeemer. That's what she looks like. But anyway, he happens to be in the bank vault whenever the bomb hits. So he's the only one left alive. And at first he's like, well, what am I going to do? There's plenty of food to eat. I've got a place to sleep and all this stuff. I think he even finds a car that will run still. But he's lonely and he doesn't know what to do. And Steve, come on, I'm almost
I love
done.
when you explain an episode of The Twilight Zone. It's really hot.
Yeah.
It's really hot.
I'm just talking in detail about this one episode.
Don't spare the details, Dana.
Steve, stop. You're making me look like the Unabomber. Okay. Steve.
I was fixing it.
You're going to mess my hair up.
Of course.
So, anyway, as Scott says, the Time Enough at Last has a cruel twist ending, which I'm not going to give that away, but he does come across the remnants of the public library in town, and now suddenly he's got all this time in the world to read books. So I'm not going to give away the twist in case you haven't watched it, but this is one of those key episodes that really stuck with me over time. But there are a ton of other great stories in this. And a lot of them Rod Serling, the creator of the Twilight Zone, wrote. But Richard Matheson also wrote some. I think writer Charles Beaumont wrote some. But like I said, I'm only on about the third disc of season 1, and there's pretty much 5 discs to each season in here, and there are 5 seasons. So you got 5 discs and 5 seasons. So that's a lot of stuff to go through. But I highly recommend this set, even if you can only get the DVD set. There is a Blu-ray set as well that's a little bit more expensive than this one. I think it might be $80 or so, whereas this one was maybe more like 50 or something, 40, 50, somewhere along the lines. But yeah, I highly recommend that if you can get your hands on it, or even if you can, find the Twilight Zone on some of the streaming channels or something like Pluto or Peacock or any of those things. And I also highly recommend the 80s version, which is what I grew up on as a kid, because that one has a lot of really great episodes as well. But if nobody has any more questions or comments for me, I'm probably going to have Steve shut this down here, because I feel like probably I've taken up enough of your guys' time, and it's probably bedtime for some of you. So I'll, give you a few seconds or so to see if anybody has anything else they want to ask or comment on. And rest assured that I am planning on coming back as soon as I get my strength up from being ill, to start doing my live streams again, continuing with my 90s retrospective. So we'll give it a few more seconds here. I thank y'all for those of you that were able to hang in there with me for a little bit longer. While I blabbed a little bit. I think I'm going to probably get me and Steve a bowl of chili. I was cooking some chili, and I'm letting it simmer now, so it'll be nice and tasty, in case y'all care. Thank you, Chris B. I hope I do feel better very soon. I am getting a little short of breath. That's another symptom that I'm having that is in the list of symptoms of COVID, which sadly I don't know what I have. Thank you, Brad. So I guess since Steven's back here doing his weird, creepy thing, thank you, Scott. You have a good night too, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the chili even if I did make it. Darren, I am looking forward to tomorrow too, as well as Steve, I'm sure is. Steve is saying he wants to slit my throat. They didn't feel too good, Steve. Your thumbnail scrubbed on my neck. It hurt.
I know, it hurt.
But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys, and let Steve shut this thing down. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit, guys.
Dana.
You don't have to clap for me.
Dana, everybody. Thank you all for watching and listening and talking and all of that good stuff. So
Steve's got the Shaw brothers.
So good night, everyone, as Darren says. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
What did Rod Serling used to say at the end of this life?
I don't know. Twilight Zone would be the last word. But peace. Thanks.
Give us a thumbs
Up you butt.
like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.